So I just got a new drone, and we will definitely be bringing you guys some cool footage from the sky as we have from the seat of the bike, our car, walking, and now we're going to look at it from the sky. But today's video is going to talk to you guys about the real estate market and some analysis and maybe some predictions as well. Just a couple weeks ago, we did a response video to our eVenture, who again is probably one of the biggest bears in the country as far as the real estate market goes. But you can always find a ton of information about the real estate market all over the place, whether that's getting newsletters, coming in and seeing some sales statistics all over the country. But this video is going to be specific to Fort Collins. What's up, everybody? My name is Patrick Soukup with Soukup Real Estate Services here in Fort Collins, Colorado. And if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing if what you're looking at doing is learning everything there is to know about Fort Collins: eating, sleeping, playing, working, and yeah, the real estate market. And as much as we like making these real estate videos for YouTube, we are in fact real estate agents and salespeople here in Northern Colorado and Fort Collins. So give us a call, text, email if you are considering relocating, moving, buying, selling, or investing here in Northern Colorado. We've got your back when it comes to everything Fort Collins. Without any further delay, let's jump into this month's market update and analysis and predictions. So enjoy. Alrighty, we're going to jump in right away with the median price of Fort Collins right around $550,000 for the month of September, month to date. We still have a couple of days till the end of the month, but we have exceeded that $500,000 threshold for a very long time. It was 450s, but we have really, as we have the rest of the country, exceeded about 20% over the last year, and we are right around $550,000 for the median sales price. Now, Fort Collins always tracks Boulder about 10 years, and as you can see in Boulder, or maybe not as you can see, but if you look to Boulder, their median price is about over $1 million. Now, we definitely need to see the same type of tech opportunities and jobs and employment and income levels that Boulder sees, but I have faith in Fort Collins. Hopefully that comes sooner than later on the employment and income side of things. Now, the second thing that I definitely want to talk to you about is the demand. Here in Fort Collins, there has been a narrative that, well, not a narrative, there has been stats that came out that have said mortgage applications are dropping, and that the demand is kind of subsiding, that buyers are sitting out, that the market's too hot and people are really not interested in engaging in this market. That is probably true throughout the country based on those statistics, but I can tell you that in Fort Collins, actually we had an average over the last few months since May, about 53 homes sell every week in Fort Collins, and just this past week we had 58 homes sell. Now, we are always looking 25 to 30 days in the past, so we are always taking a historical view of the market because our contracts here in Fort Collins take about 25 to 45 days to close from start to finish. So our demand for those houses that had closed this last week was really dictated from a month ago, which was really when mortgage applications were dropping. So maybe it hasn't had the time to take effect, but we will see if the current properties that are closing do in fact close and those numbers maintain. Now, unfortunately, we are not seeing this increased inventory. Our numbers are dropping seasonally as they have in previous years. Generally speaking, we're going to see about 50 to 65 houses every week come onto the market, which if you're listening and you hear that I was telling you that on average 53 homes sell every week, and currently on average we are having 50 to 60 homes come onto the market, you can see that one comes on, one comes off. So we are staying like pretty steady Eddie as far as our inventory levels go. But over this past week, we saw only about 37 houses come onto the market. So this inventory dilemma that we are facing is not getting addressed with new inventory. And the conversation that people are having are evictions that ceased at the eviction ban, which ceased at the end of August, which allowed landlords to post and evict their non-paying tenants, which usually will take about 30 days in Fort Collins and northern Colorado. And we are going to potentially start seeing some evictions be carried out, and then maybe those landlords being able to put their properties onto the market. But that being said, with the portfolio that I oversee and some of my own personal rentals, we actually didn't post anybody for the month of September, even after the eviction ban expired. But one thing that I talked to my assistant about is that people respond to sticks and carrots. Now, obviously, this last 18 months has been completely different with the pandemic, but one of the biggest sticks that landlords have had is the threat of an eviction, which people respond to sticks or carrots. And the biggest stick that us landlords have are the ability to evict a non-paying tenant, which was really pretty cool to see over the last 18 months. Many tenants wanted to pay their rent, and we never really had a problem. We hopefully treated them with as much respect as we were hoping to receive, and we did. So it was a great relationship that we had, and we didn't have too many tenants that we had to actually, of the portfolio that I oversee too, to post for eviction. So that is a potential that could increase levels of inventory if that does in fact lead to an eviction, 30 to 45 days. Then that landlord fixes up their property and puts it onto the market. We still maybe haven't seen that effect yet. So who knows what that's going to have, but it's something to take into consideration. The other thing that people have talked about as a potential increase to supply is that mortgage forbearance is going to, is going to cease as of September 30th. Now, what that means again is that people can no longer take mortgage forbearance beginning September 30th. That means up until September 29th, we can go in there, anybody can go in there and put their properties in mortgage forbearance with their banks, with basically just giving a call and saying, hey, I can't pay my mortgage, I need to put it in mortgage forbearance. And they can go either from 6 to 12 months without paying their mortgage. There were over 9 million people who took that opportunity, but there are less than 1.5 million currently in mortgage forbearance. It was seen as this potentially kind of short-term, whether it was fear or really the inability to pay, opportunity for people to delay paying their mortgages. But at this point, out of the 9 million, only 1.5 million people are still in that mortgage forbearance. And so that being said, it could have been a lot of voluntary, take money to go spend money on vacations, groceries, vehicles. All that being said, here over the next 6 to 18 months, we will see people leaving mortgage forbearance and then having the opportunity to either start paying their mortgage, or potentially putting their property on the market to sell if they really truly can't afford to pay their mortgage. So that's going to be a slow effect onto supply into the market, because people were able to take them basically anywhere from April 2020 moving forward. So that 6 to 18 months, depending on how they took it, and if they extended it and had some extensions added on to their original forbearance, all that could be just different timing of those properties that end up coming onto the market because of the inability to pay their mortgage. So long story short, the supply issues are not being met by the eviction currently, which still has a long time to go, or the mortgage forbearance. But again, these items could potentially come to play a major role here in the near future. And so the thought is, well, hey, new builders, hit the freaking gas pedal. Well, I can tell you that they are too having still major supply issues from exterior stones on one of my clients' new builds to a client that we're closing this week, and they still don't have a kitchen vanity, or they had actually have a different dishwasher than what they currently had on their purchase, which will get replaced once they close. I've also heard, windows, appliances. There's just major issues on the new construction side of things, as well as labor and the workforce. Now, the unemployment benefits expired on September 6th for the federal, and we should hopefully see this wave of workers come back into the workforce, as at least in Fort Collins, you can pretty much see anywhere help wanted, help needed, hiring any position here. And the labor force for these new construction companies is no different. They are lacking both labor and supply. So these supply issues that hopefully the new builders were going to be able to take hasn't really been able to happen because of all these supply chain issues. Now, I can say that I am getting more and more calls from new builders following up, coming back to me and asking if my client is interested in that new construction, and also homes that are coming onto the market here in the near future. We're getting calls, whereas the builders used to basically just say, come and get it, take it while it's hot. But all that being said, we definitely need more inventory, as don't want to necessarily beat a dead horse, but we are always watching those items that we have talked about in previous videos about potentially impacting supply, but just not happening just yet. Now, on the flip side, the demand, again, I'm telling you, the demand has stayed and remained strong, and that's really dictated off of the monthly mortgage affordability, which has been able to be maintained because of low interest rates. And that hasn't changed. We're still seeing 2.8 to 3% on a 30-year fixed mortgage, depending on your credit score and how much money you're putting down. And those are probably going to remain for at least throughout the rest of the 2021. And from what I've been hearing is potentially in the middle to end of 2022, those interest rates could increase. Now, I have a lot of lender buddies that I'm watching, seeing their bond markets and yields, and watching the interest rates and trying to lock clients. And it is a very big variable to everyone's mortgage, is their interest rates. So if you feel comfortable locking at anywhere between 2.8 and 3%, I would highly recommend that. I wouldn't necessarily play the game. I myself I'm going through a couple refinances right now, and hopefully have that 3% lock for some investment properties. So that interest rate has still really pushed buyer demand. Maybe once that increases, that buyer demand, it'll probably get, not necessarily cut in half by any means, but it probably will get impacted because of what that median price of $550,000. And now instead of a 3% loan, you have a 4% loan. Well, that monthly mortgage just became that much more unaffordable for that buyer. Not only is the down payment hard to come by, well, now the monthly mortgage is really difficult. So buyer demand may take a little bit of a hit at that point. Definitely things to take into consideration for the real estate market. Now, some ancillary things that aren't necessarily specific to Fort Collins, but could have an effect, an impact on our market, is the $3.5 trillion, sorry, yeah, is that right? You don't even know if you're talking, it's trillion, $3.5 trillion spending bill that's getting put into place. And a portion of that will be addressed is down payment assistance, rental assistance, home ownership initiatives that are specific to the real estate market. It sounds like maybe either a portion or all of this infrastructure bill will be passed. So that's something that we will need to definitely take into consideration and watch as far as home ownership and things that we will see impact the real estate market. Now, homeownership rate in the United States has always hovered right around between 63 to 65%, which is great. But why I discuss that is, if you have heard of the Evergrande real estate dilemma that's going on in China, homeownership rate is 90% in China. The majority of all wealth is locked up in their personal property. And 30% of China's GDP is in real estate. And this company is their largest developer in China. Over $300 billion per year that they bring in, and they just defaulted on their interest payment of about $80 million. Now, they have 30 days to make that payment before they go into, or they could be defaulted on, but they are late on their interest payment, which could send a ripple effect throughout the entire China economy. So it's something to watch. They're kind of likening it to the Lehman Brothers collapse in 2008. So definitely something to watch. Obviously, it's the second largest economy in the world, and the real estate portion of that making up 30%, and they just defaulted on $80 million. Definitely something to take into consideration. And when you have 90% homeownership rate in China, and a lot of those homeowners put a down payment on with Evergrande, which, depending on how this all shakes out, potentially is gone. You know, it's just in the thin air, and materials for that they bought on credit aren't going to be paid. Workers aren't going to be paid. I mean, just the ripple effect could be pretty dramatic. Now, let me just make sure I've hit everything that that I wanted to hit. That's pretty much it that I wanted to touch base on, and things that we need to take into consideration now and moving forward into the future. It's fun talking to people about what's going to happen in the real estate market. You know, at the current moment, demand is still very strong. Interest rates are are historically low, but prices are still increasing. We are seeing less of a change from list price to sales price, only about 1%. It's gone down about 1% each month. So now the market has kind of caught up to what is actually market value for these homes when they go onto the market. Now, I have heard a lot of people use different strategies to list homes, and don't get me wrong, if you want an auction, then great, have an auction. But it is interesting when you go onto the market now, you are seeing houses sell for only about 1% higher to 1.5% higher than the list price, than the sales price. Earlier this year, in May and June, you'd see anywhere from 4 to 6% on average above list price. So you can take that into consideration when you're looking at buying houses, but the market is still going to be seeing an increase in prices, hopefully a little bit more stable than what we saw over the last 12 months. But that being said, there are a lot of things that are putting pressure onto this market, and we aren't out of this pandemic, and we're going into our second winter of not necessarily being, fully open or fully available to kind of open the floodgates. So we'll see how we make it through this second winter, and hopefully by this time next year, we're just talking about really boring, dull markets without too much variability in them. But hopefully this video has helped you kind of see some things from my perspective and what Fort Collins is doing, and some of the on-ground aspects and considerations that I'm seeing with my clients on the buying side of things with real estate. And if you have any questions specifically, definitely feel free to reach out. Give me a call, text, or email, or comment below. And if you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, like it, engage, and also, definitely watch this video of, watch the video of my RE Venture response. And hopefully between all of this information, you guys see what Fort Collins is about, what I'm about. And thanks for watching. Until next time, guys, take care.